So generally we are used to talking about Guru Nanak as who is Guru Nanak. That's not what I'm going to do today. I'm going to focus on what is Guru Nanak. Because we have personified and idealized too many things. And what we are used to knowing about Guru Nanak, you heard primarily like when even Reena Korhi was talking about it, the portraits idea and what's in our minds. But here I want to remind, her last name is Heer, and Heer is a very famous Punjabi poem. But do you know there's a Heer written by inspirations from the house of Guru Nanak as well? And I invite you to read that Heer. And that Heer is written at the time of Guru Amar Das. And that Heer is written by a guy named Damodar Gulati. And you will see the inspiration of the house of Guru Nanak in there. That how it looks at the culture in Punjab and how it takes that culture of what we're going to be discussing, what is Guru Nanak, instead of what we are generally used to, the spinners have been describing him. Everyone's spinning Guru Nanak. They've been spinning Guru Nanak since the day he was born. People thought what he was. There are stories written about it, variations in Janam Sakhis as well. They're trying to understand what he is, but they're spinning him according to their lenses. And they continue. We have them in academia today. We have them on YouTube channels of Sikh worlds as well. Everyone is continuing to spin Guru Nanak. So how would we know? And today, I'm not going to do any spinning. That's my attempt today. I'm not going to share with you what I think Guru Nanak is, because I think it's most important to understand Guru Nanak is according to his own words. And according to the primary source of the Sikhs, called Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Granth Sahib is not just a scripture. In the religious sense, it is a scripture. But in the political sense, it is the manifesto of the Sikhs. So it's a charter. In our charter, who is Guru Nanak is less important than what is Guru Nanak. In our charter, the contemporary of gurus is more important than people like me who are removed 500 to 550 years. That's the personal experience of Guru Nanak. It might be organizational experience of Guru Nanak, people who write now, or an academic experience, or a poetic experience, or spinners, we'll just call it for now, because everyone is spinning Guru Nanak. It has become a sort of a favorite pastime for many people. So what is Guru Nanak? Let me start with today's inspiration from Guru Granth Sahib. And this itself is a disruption. When Guru Arjan Sahib spoke from Darbar Sahib, Sri Harinder Sahib, Amritsar this morning, the Rahao line where he asks us to pause and reflect is, and I'm going to focus entirely in English for this session today. The interpretation I have for the Rahao line today is, he says, Ikko Oankar, the giver, is the protector of all. So those of you who are Canucks fans and you believe in particular religious traditions, when they're playing a game, don't just pray for your team to win. Because the Ikko Oankar is a protector of all. Like in America, on NFL days, both sides are kneeling down and praying and asking Jesus to defeat the other side. So something is not right with that ideology. Somebody is going to lose that day. That's why we keep the score. And the second part of the line is that I seek your support. Your is the Ikko Oankar who's the protector of all. I seek your guidance. I seek sustenance from you, the divine, the one, the God, whatever you want to call it. And Guru Nanak called that entity Ikko Oankar, which is the force itself. This is the reminder for Sikhs. This is the level of disruption which was happening at the time. So what is most important according to Guru Granth Sahib, and I'm going to read this, these are transcreations, so some of that I'm going to do today, because it's not what I think Guru Nanak is. It's what Guru Arjan thinks. It's the bard poets of Guru Granth Sahib, what they think. It's the contemporary named Bhai Gurdas, what he thinks. And the way Guru Arjan describes Guru Nanak is, a lamp was lit in the darkness. Darkness is symbolism for ignorance. A lamp was lit in the darkness. The whole ignorant era was lifted by one Naam principle. This word is going to repeat quite a bit, Naam, which we're going to say is the way you identify with Ikko Oankar, with the force. And votary Guru Nanak, the embodiment of the transcendent one, revealed in the whole one light mention, which means Guru Nanak was revealed to this world, who came here primarily to fight the darkness. That's not a popular image of Guru Nanak. We have made him a poet. We have made him an activist. We have made him overweight. We have made him rolling his eyes as if he's on drugs. We have made him spiritual. We have made him whatever we like to see, or whatever we think will maintain the status quo in our circle of influence. But that's not Guru Nanak. So what is Guru Nanak? According to Guru Granth Sahib, he started a Raj. And I'm going to read a transcreation of that, and we'll discuss that a bit. This is exactly what it says in Guru Granth Sahib in context. This is the complete body by the bards, the dooms named Satta Balwan, and one of them writes this. He says, the decision Almighty Creator makes, how can anything be said to appraise that? Which means, how are you going to appraise what the force is doing? You have to be like the force to appraise it. So what's the decision the Creator made? Divine virtues, such as truth, are like brothers and sisters of Guru Nanak, which means he did not have to work like you and I have to work to practice truth. The virtues of truth are like brothers and sisters to Guru Nanak. The Guru received the gift of freedom. This is what Guru Nanak got from the force, the gift of freedom. Think about the gifts we ask for. And what happened with that gift for freedom? He started the Raj. Nanak started the Raj. He built the eternal ford on the foundations, on the firm foundations. Now, then he placed the canopy. Here comes the political symbolism. He placed the canopy over Lehna's head who drank the immortal nectar of the glory. It sounds a little awkward because we are not used to it. What he's saying is, the next one in line, the Raj always has, who would say, who's the next one in line, right? Who's going to be the next leader? He says the next leader was the one who lived Nam, the principle of oneness. And what did he give the individual? If you are seeking something from Guru Nanak, he says he gave him the sword for strength as commanded by the wisdom from the One. Sword for strength as commanded by the force. Sounds like Star Wars, yes. And then what happened? The mentor saluted the protege. Think about that for a second. Guru Nanak was the mentor. And then he says, now the protege is the mentor. That's what he did while he was alive. And this is how he created the succession planning we call it today. So the question which we really should be thinking about is, Guru Nanak has already become a light and a wisdom. There is no body being described. This is the number one thing I would like you to understand. Who is Guru Nanak? People will be spinning, they will be debating, and you can be part of that debate if you choose to. What is Guru Nanak becomes one light. What is Guru Nanak becomes the principle of Nam. And what Guru Nanak gives, because he himself received the gift of freedom, what he gives is the sword of strength founded on the principles of Nam. So he started this Raj. Raj is a South Asian term. South Asian term, like we use the British Raj, the Khalsa Raj. Raj means a system of governance and policies. With the state, whoever the ruler is, whatever their form of governance is, they do not have just policies. We are still dealing with this. You have an election in 2 days and you're dealing with this. Guru Nanak was dealing with this. And primarily people who make the rules are the so-called the spiritual and the political. So he says, let's fight them first, not the average people. He actually hung out with average people. He debated with the policymakers, because policymakers is where the debate takes place. Now we debate with average individuals. We need to figure out how to have a love affair with average individuals. So in that Raj, in the new system of governance, the spiritual and the political, which is the next session Jasleen will focus on, that became the dialogue. And I want to talk about that dialogue quite a bit. He traveled, he dialogued, he observed, and he eventually set up a project called Kartarpur. That's where he practiced the Raj. Because he traveled the world from Saudi Arabia to Sri Lanka. People don't change. You elect your governments. Many of them fail on many promises. So he's like, how long do you continue this? He did that. But then he says, let's figure out a system of policies which we will implement, and he did it for more than 2 decades in a city called Kartarpur. The Kartarpur means the place where the Creator lives, Creator will. So sometimes we wonder about what was his job. We all go through trainings. He writes it himself, and I'm going to read this. He says, I, the bard, was jobless. He did jobs like we do jobs, but the real calling, we call it the real vocation. He says, I, the bard, was jobless. The one gave me a job. The real mission of life. I was given the command to sing odes day and night. That's why he has vars. Asaki var is the next session. The owner called me, the bard, to the eternal abode, which means live in the ideas of eternalities, not in what is the latest fashion or chic. Dressed, which means he imparted me with the eternal praise, the eternal glories, not things which are time-bound, not whatever the nearest Eckhart Tolle book is, or whatever the newest idea of godlessness is. Because those keep changing, they're fashionable. Those who fully experience the perfect wisdom, they find the comfort. So if you're looking for comfort, experience the wisdom. And he writes himself, as I, the bard, resound the word wisdom, I partake, I progress on the Nam's grace. So perfect is found in eternal praise is what he's writing. So Guru Nanak says, I had jobs like other people have jobs, but I really didn't have a job until I experienced Ikkoankar. And then everything changed. And you know that even at your levels, when you discover something which is powerful, your idea of even work changes. Your idea of relationship changes. Everything changes. And it changed from him. He was about 30 years old when he experienced this at the highest levels. That's what the tradition maintains. So what did he do once he experienced it? And that's what I want to focus on, because that's the Raj. I'm not interested in the stories. Guru Granth Sahib says, there are so many stories, how are you going to verify all of them? You weren't there. I wasn't there. This is why who is Guru Nanak becomes debatable. What is Guru Nanak is available. And what I want to share with you here very quickly, Bhai Gurdas, he has written a whole war just on Guru Nanak, what he did. And I'm going to select few things. I'm going to read that to you. But I invite you to read the first war of Bhai Gurdas, the first ode he has written, with multiple bodies in there. And I'm going to give you some gems what he did. On Guru's arrival, he says, Guru Nanak came to free people in ignorance era. So if you're wondering about his mission, that's his mission. When he went to the pilgrimage centers, he witnessed it was a lack of love at pilgrimages. And what did he say? He says, then the Guru's toilsome labor becomes acceptable at Ikkoankar's door, which means if there is no love in whatever your idea of religiosity is, he says, forget it. Third thing, what were the conditions of Hindustan, South Asia at the time? He said, blinds were pushing the blinds into the well. We can relate to it even in America right now on this. Right? Spin doctors. The blinds are pushing the blinds into the well. Khooj sit rahe hain, Punjabi che likhe. Okay? On the questions with the Siddhs, Q&A with the Siddhs. Siddhs were literally the proven ones, the best of the yogis, you can call them. What did he do with it? To them he said, without the wisdom, the world is drowning. Think about that. People who have claimed to be the proven ones, they have to, what are the proven ones today? They are the holier than thou people. The ones who have become the elites of any kind. The ones who claim we have figured it out, but don't give a damn about the world. He says, without the wisdom, the whole world is drowning. And what is doing? Then they test the Guru. And Bhai Gurdas writes, instead of yoga, Naam is the delight. Because they weren't happy either. Elites are not really happy. They are in the positions of power. So he says, forget yoga. Naam is how you discover delight. Sukh edda miluga. Then at Makkah he goes. Mecca we call it in English now. And what happens there? He says, all were awestruck and bowed in reverence. Look at what you think of Islam today and what happened then. When he went, had more conversations about kala, the art and the power, we call it today. How did it manifest in Guru Nanak? He says, Guru Nanak Sahib's manifest art power cannot be hidden or suppressed. This is very important. People have been trying to suppress that. His own relatives since from his time, his own sons included. He continues, what did he do at Kartarpur? He said the wisdom-oriented Guru freed people from the clutches of Atharveda. For those of you who don't know, in the system of 4 Vedas, Atharveda is the one which is about the magical formulas. He says he freed people from the magical formulas. That's what he did at Kartarpur. He's not a magician. He's the one who's working on experiencing now. What did he do at Shivratri, at Batala? He says, witnessing Guru confronting the money loot, because the Siddhs were looting people there. Just like today, the spiritualists are always looting people. They always prey on your fear and guilt. And he witnessed that at Batala on the very major festival of Shivratri. And Bhai Gurdas says, witnessing the Guru confronting the money loot, the yogis were further enraged. You will notice people who claim to be spiritual, they're always very angry, especially when you call them out. And that's what is written about Guru Nanak. He did that. He called them out. All you're doing is taking people's money and claiming to be all the best. He continues. Then he says there's a more dialogue with the Siddhs, because these are the proven ones, people who claim we are all that. So it's not just the Siddhs of the time. We have our Siddhs, the New Age Siddhs now. He says, accept people's money offerings, they have nothing. This is his conclusion on the people who claim to be the best. And then Siddhs ask him more questions. And Bhai Gurdas says, ultimately, they were humbled and submitted to the wisdom of Guru Nanak. Wisdom of Guru Nanak, eternal wisdom of Guru Nanak. And he ends with Guru Angad Sahib. He says, Guru Nanak converted the body, the Guru's body, into the new form, and he called it Angad. Now, these are his dialogues. These are his dialogues for what? More than 2/3 of his life. These are the challenges he is confronted with and having dialogues with, conversing, and then coming up with the policies in what we now call Naam culture and practice them at Kartarpur. So he challenged the rulers. He challenged the elite, you know that. He challenged the religious elites and the political elites. People thought he was crazy. Yeah. He writes it himself, that's how I know. I'm not reading any spinning on him anymore. He has actually written, and I want to read you the whole Shabad, because you need to know this. The real Guru Nanak people thought was really crazy. They actually called him mad. They called him out of tune. They called him Devana, mad lover. And you know how we know this? Because these are the words which Guru Nanak himself has written, and I'm going to read it to you. It's in Rag Maru in Guru Granth Sahib. He says, some say I'm a ghost. Betal, Betala, Putana. Some say I am a ghost. Some say I am a wandering spirit. People are spinning. Some say Nanak is a hapless man. And then he says, what am I? He says, I am a mad lover of the sovereign. Sahib da Devana. I'm a mad lover of the sovereign, but some people still say Nanak is crazy. I know none other than one light. And then he reframes a conversation on mad lover, because some of us have our own ideas of lovers and how to be madly in love. He has 3 lines just on mad lover, Devana. Devana word is used quite a bit in poetry as well. So he says, a person is recognized as mad lover when one is carefree in reverence, not careless. Beparwa. And mad lover recognizes none other than the one sovereign. Because freedom can be granted by only one sovereign. A person is recognized as mad lover when one performs one task. And what is that task? Acknowledges the divine command and no other cleverness matters. because our mind is a very powerful thing, as Tupac would tell us, right? It plays tricks on you. And Guru Nanak Sahib says, the one who acknowledges the command with capital C, that's the mad lover. The system of things, what's happening in the world, in the galaxy. A person is recognized as mad lover, the one who loves, who bears love for the sovereign, considers the self as bad and others in the world as good, instead of the other way. So the mad lover he defines in 3 different ways here. Rather elaborates, not defining. He says, I'm a mad lover. And lovers are never understood, by the way. They will always be called, what did he say? Ghost, wandering spirit, hapless man, and crazy. He writes this himself. Why else was he considered all this? Because the way he dealt with the political, for what he was jailed for. When the Babar's witnessing and the fights he's witnessing, I want to read excerpts of that in his own words, because this is a very political. This is the Raj part. This is the Guru Nanak who is not just spiritual or not just political. And he says, the one who reigned over Khorasan, which is from contemporary Iran to Afghanistan, Babar terrorized Hindustan, which is the South Asia. This is Guru Nanak's own word. He says, the Mughals invaded like the death messengers. And what did they do? There was so much suffering. Didn't you feel the pain? We are witnessing a lot of suffering globally. Don't you feel the pain? And you know this line. This is a popular one where he says, when a powerful lion attacks the cattle herd, the owner of that herd is to be questioned, which means it's about what we now call chain of command. Don't just go after the one who's implementing the order. Who gave the order? Let's go after them. Don't go after a regular soldier. What about the one who's creating these policies in sitting in their equivalent of the State Departments or FCOs or externals or their CIAs or their IBs and their Mossads and their CSISs? That's what's being questioned here. Then he continues, he says, many spiritualists try to halt Babar, when they heard that the politician, the Babar, was coming. So many claim, that spiritualists always claim we have magical powers. He says, buildings were burned down. Many places, strong buildings were burned. Princes were cut into pieces, thrown in the dust. No one was blinded. No one passed a test, which means all these spiritual people who claim to have these magical powers, they have none. Remember what he said about the people with spirituality before? Like they have no power, because I want to see your power the day people are suffering. He continues on women. He says some women were Hindus, some other were Muslims, some other were Pattis or Rajputs. These are subclasses and castes in India. He says clothes of some of them were torn from head to heel. They were dishonored, raped. Some live in cremation ground. They were killed. Women whose handsome ones, implying husbands, did not come home. How could their night end? They are still waiting. You will see similar cries in globe today. What we now call crimes against humanity, genocides, gendercides, things of that nature. This is the real Guru Nanak. And when he paints this picture, witnesses his personal account, he eventually, and this I'm going to read it verbatim, because now he says, this is what he witnessed. He says, now let me talk to you about the wisdom in this. This is very important, because we are after the wisdom of Guru Nanak. And he is invoking this in a conversation with an individual named Lalo, Pai Lalo. Those of you know the Sakhis. He says, oh Lalo, the Bani, the wisdom as it comes to me, I share it. And what is that? Babar descended from Kabul like a wedding party of sin. You know how people come in excitement to rape? People get excited to do these things. You know these. He said, this is how Babar came. And he demanded the alms by force, which means he says, give me these things. Shame and principle went into hiding. People have no principles. They have no shame. Lies are the chiefs now. You'll see this. Now we call that post-truth because everyone's spinning again. Lives are the chiefs, which means only lies are operating. O Lalo, talks by Qazi and the Brahmins, which means the religious heads, are tiring, which means they're ineffective. And you see this because they keep giving the same sermons. They're ineffective. The Satan reads the wedding vows. Satan, he says, if you don't have an idea what a Satan is, look at these religious leaders, how they talk. This is a Satan. This is the real Guru Nanak talking about his wisdom. And then he continues, Hindu women of high caste and low caste and others, they're also in the same writ. O Nanak, Lalo, the bloody songs are being sung. Khoon ke sohile gaviye Nanak. He's written this. The bloody songs are being sung, yelling and killing over land to dominate. And instead of sandoor, the blood is being put in people's head. And Guru Nanak says, when I'm witnessing all this, I sing the virtues of sovereign while standing on the pile of dead bodies. Mas puri vich khadke. It's very real. This Guru Nanak, this is why he wanted to change the policies. He says, body, which means the land, the clothes, which means the people, are being cut into pieces. This must stop. And he eventually ends with, Sach sunai si sach ki vela, and this is the wisdom. Make sure you speak the truth when it is time to speak the truth, which means when you're confronted with the reality like this, are you experiencing Ekko Ankar and Naam to tell it how it is? So this was the original idea of Guru Nanak's Raj. Looking at the religiosities of the people who were in charge of these, the politics of the time, and what was he really after in all this? So his number one principle was, will we treat all human beings with dignity and respect? Because that's what he's outlining. Don't invoke your God or your idea of God in sermons or in kathas, we'll call it today, or in the gurdwaras or in the churches or in the interfaith meetings. That's what he's saying. He's like, I want to see the practice of oneness when you treat what we now call 7.5 billion people on this earth. That's real Guru Nanak. And because that wasn't happening, he says we need to also establish Raj, which means the policies. It's an aspiration which is eternal. And Sikh history is a witness to that in 550 years. Why it is an eternal? It's a perpetual aspiration to establish Raj. And it will continue forever and ever. Because the policies, as you're witnessing in the globe today, the rise of religious bigotry is back again, and the rise of ultra-nationalism is back again. So we must fight this. That's what Guru Nanak was about. And in our era, we have equally unjust states. And we have who are equally refusing to treat all men, women, and those who don't identify as men and women with dignity and respect. We are back to that again. It's a perpetual process. The lovers, the mad lovers will do this. Let's use Guru Nanak's vocabulary. And you will always be labeled ghost, spirit, crazy. That's what Guru Nanak himself is writing in Guru Granth Sahib. Now, you might ask this question, if this is the real Guru Nanak, like some of us become activists and we worry about it, some of us become spiritualists and worry about, is this it? Are you really enjoying this, or is this a task now, right? So I want to quote you another thing from Guru Granth Sahib. Because there were these Saraswat Brahmins, they were trained in the art of, today we will call them like the Nobel laureates. So they wrote about this. They witnessed all this, and they said, did Guru Nanak really enjoy this? It seems like a lot of pretty tough stuff. So they wrote about it. They witnessed it in the system, in the house of Guru Nanak, that how this continued, how Guru Angad continued, Guru Amar Das continued, Guru Ram Das continued, Guru Arjan, and they're looking at this continuity, so it did not stop with Guru Nanak. And when they came to the court of Guru Ramdas and they presented this to the court of Guru Arjan, they actually used these words. They said, Raj Jog Nirantar Maneo. Maneo is to enjoy. This is very important, that Guru Nanak did not treat this as a task. For Guru Nanak, this was not about winning the votes or the popular mandate. He says the idea of Raj, which has to do with changing of policies in the world, and the idea of Jog, which has to do with union or connection with Ek Oankar, Nirantar is incessantly, without a break, Maneo, he enjoyed. So Guru Nanak does not fit into any models. And this is the academia of the West and India, East, the religious systems, the political system, the psychological frameworks, the popular mandates on studying archetypes. None of them fit into it because they don't have this model where somebody enjoyed having these interactions and dialogues and changing policies in the love affair as a mad lover who took on these systems. And that system continued. And this system continues till today because Guru Nanak enjoyed this rule and this union. Guru Nanak enjoyed this connection. Nirantar Maneo, I want you to understand that Nirantar means continuously. Very important gala. And the system of Guru Nanak is like that. The house of Guru Nanak is like, this is the wisdom of Guru Nanak, this is the light, this is the Naam, this is the force, this is the Oankar, where it's perpetual. You know this, if you have watched the 70s, cowboys movies or the Star Wars who started at the same time. It's a perpetual battle. The question is not why it is happening. Question is, what is your response to it? And Guru Nanak developed the mad lovers at Kartarpur, trained them to become like this because he enjoyed doing this. This was not a task for him. Guru Nanak became, this is why whether the poets sing about him, and I'm not going to touch upon those today. Today, it was important for me to tell you what is Guru Nanak in Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Nanak in Guru Granth Sahib is not just a reformer or even a revolutionary, because even revolutionaries are incomplete. But revolutionary by itself has to be talked about in 2019 in October today, because Sikhs are not as revolutionaries again, those who claim to be the followers of Guru Nanak. The followers of Guru Nanak did this because Guru Nanak is about oneness. Guru Nanak is about Naam. Guru Nanak is about taking on the religious and the political and not just confronting them, addressing them in a loving manner to change the policies. That's what changed the history of South Asia. That's what's changed even 100 plus years ago when Sikhs landed here. We were doing this in this country. This is what we did everywhere we went. It didn't matter what the country was. We were these new Jedi warriors, right? Or the idea of Raj Jog. But enjoy currently. And how will you enjoy this when you have experienced it? Other day I was having a conversation with somebody, he's like, how do I tell this to the world? I said, it can't be told. Fragrance is something you have to smell. You can't describe it. You have to experience it. So those who experience this Ek Oankar, this Naam, they are, you and I, those who are aspiring to of Guru Nanak, we are born out of wisdom sword. Remember that. Gyan Khadag. The aspiration is that we are born out of sword wisdom. And when we are born out of sword wisdom, we will know how to continue this legacy regardless of which city we live in. All gurus after Guru Nanak changed their cities too. 2 of them went to diaspora. 1 of them was born in diaspora. I think sitting here, should be able to relate to that. But they still continued the mission. It was not about nationalism or religiosity. That's what I'm after. This was actually about having this experience of Ek Oankar and Naam, and then working to change the economic and political policies. So if you want to continue this legacy of Guru Nanak, first you must experience Guru Nanak in his own words. And if you have experienced Guru Nanak in his own words, then you might want to become the mad lover. Because only the Devana are the ones who will be able to continue the idea of force of Ek Oankar, which produces the just policies in both the religious and political world, and is not worried about what the world calls them, is not worried about their character assassinations, is purely focused on establishing Raj founded on the firm foundations, which establishes and builds the fort, and fort is for protection. And the Shabad today, the Hukum today said, we only seek protection of one sovereign. That's what mad lovers are. I invite you, in the words of Guru Nanak, to become one of those mad lovers. Thank you.